right, you know that theme song means it is another episode of Senator Omar Raines' show, heard right here at the Reno Town Mall, where you're welcome to come and sit in the audience or actually get behind a microphone. If you'd like to text in a question or a comment, you can text 775-237-2266. If you'd like to give a call and speak with either Senator Omar Raines or any of his great guests, that telephone number is 844-790-TALK. Write it down and give us a call, 844-790-8255. Without taking one moment more, let's go to the creator, the host of Senator Omar Raines' show, Senator Omar Raines.
Thank you, Eddie. Hello, folks. I'm Omar Raines, welcoming you to American Matters Media, broadcasting this particular program live to the world, not only in English, but by way of translation in various other languages as well. Now, as listeners of this program know, by my choice, it is intentionally eclectic in nature, and thus it does not focus solely on one topic or subject matter. Moreover, whatever the topic and whomever the guests, we encourage diverse points of view. Therefore, we welcome comments or questions from the listening audience. Remember the call-in number that Eddie just gave you, or if you wish to text, he gave you that number as well. Okay, with that in mind, I want to introduce today's guests, very distinguished guests, Jim Hartman and Senator Tick Sagerblum, both distinguished, but diagonally opposed on the issue that we're going to discuss today, which is marijuana initiatives on the ballot in many areas of the country, but we're specifically going to focus on Question 2 in Nevada and Prop 64 in California, mainly the one in Nevada. But let me introduce first Jim Hartman and Senator Tick Sagerblum, both, again, very distinguished. Jim, who will speak in opposition to Question 2, received his Bachelor of Science from the University of California, Santa Barbara, and his J.D., or Doctor of Jurisprudence, from the University of San Francisco. He's been qualified to practice in several states. He serves on the board of several companies and entities and is active in numerous political campaigns. Of special significance for this show, he's the founder and president of Nevadans for a Responsible Drug Policy. Speaking in support of Question 2, Tick Sagerblum is also an attorney, but he is also very directly involved in the political arena. He received his graduate degree and his postgraduate degree from Pomona College and the University of Denver. He was elected to the Nevada State Assembly in 2006 and then to the Nevada State Senate in 2012, representing a portion of Clark County and a part of the city of Las Vegas. That's Senate District 3. But, gentlemen, I want to dispense with titles today. It's not Senator Omar Raines. It's not Senator Tick Sagerblum. And, Jim, we're just going to go by Jim, Tick, and Omar. And this is a particularly relevant topic, and it's very timely. In the Lake Tahoe Bonanza, which I live at Lake Tahoe, there was a major article just today. And in driving from Lake Tahoe down to Reno, I'm listening to the National Public Radio, and they're having a program on medical marijuana initiatives and recreational marijuana initiatives on the ballot in various states. So we do know that multiple states, counties, and cities have decriminalized medical marijuana, starting with Oregon in 1973, and that also now, of course, includes California back in 1996 and more recently Nevada. And we see the same thing elsewhere in the world. And, you know, I'm off the top of my head, Spain, the Netherlands, Israel, Finland, Belgium, Austria, Canada, and so on. However, Question 2 in Nevada and Prop 64 in California speak to whether or not recreational marijuana should also be made part of public policy. So we are going to focus primarily on the initiative in Nevada. But do let me start by first asking if either one of you can explain the basic differences between the Nevada initiative and the California initiative. Hello, Tick, Jim, either one of you.
I don't know about Jim, but I'll
Jim Hartman. I have focused almost exclusively on the Nevada initiative and wouldn't want to, in detail, discuss California Prop 64. So I would leave that to others.
Well, let me ask you.
Let me go ahead then, if it's okay, Omer.
Sure.
That the biggest difference from my perspective is that the California proposition is trying to build on an existing system which is basically unregulated. And so they're going to have a huge problem trying to take what's out there, and it's been going on for several years, and put it into a framework. Whereas in Nevada, we have a very, in my opinion, of course I wrote the law, but a very outstanding regulated medical marijuana system, and we're basically just taking that system and making it recreational. So we're going from a regulated system that's gonna go from requiring a card to just anyone being 21. But it's a much simpler system when you already have everything currently is regulated, as opposed to California where things are unregulated pretty much, and they're going to try to put a regulation on top of that, and it's going to, I think, going to have huge administrative problems. Although I think they'll be able to do it, but in the short term, it's going to be a huge problem for California.
Well, let me ask this.
And I might
go ahead, Jim.
Contribute this fact is Nevada, when Senator Segerblum says we're going to build on the medical marijuana system. Actually, the Nevada recreational proposal is to empower the Department of Taxation to be running a recreational marijuana program, and the medical marijuana program in the state of Nevada is run by a completely different Department of Health and Human Services. So when he says, gee, we're just building on something that's already existing, frankly, we're not. We're going to be creating a whole new role for the Department of Taxation in the state of Nevada here.
Well, let me ask this. Let's assume, notwithstanding those differences, let's assume that each of these two ballot measures pass. Would there be reciprocity between the two states? If you're licensed or certified to either grow or purchase in California, would that be sufficient for Nevada and vice versa?
As far as being able to purchase, absolutely. In fact, Nevada already has reciprocity. If you are eligible to participate in the medical marijuana program in California, if you have a doctor's note, you can come to Nevada and purchase medical marijuana. But as far as being able to...
That's under some dispute currently with an Attorney General's opinion that is contrary to that at this point.
Yeah. But currently, we do have reciprocity, and it's a question of what the California resident has to show to be able to come to Nevada. But we do accept patients from all around the country who are recognized by their states. But with respect to being able to grow and transport that product to Nevada, that would not be allowed, because as long as it's federally illegal, anything that crosses state lines is a federal crime. So we might be able to enter an interstate compact at some point where Nevada and California could pass product back and forth, but that would not be allowed initially.
So it's not quite as straightforward when I talk about reciprocity as might appear on the surface.
Correct.
Okay.
Well, it depends on who you talk to. I think it's very straightforward, but Jim obviously disagrees.
Well,
that's
I
what lawyers
think the
do.
Attorney General agrees with you, Senator.
Right, but that's why I say the Attorney General is out there pretty much like other people.
Very well. Let me tell you what I'd like to do now. I want to break down the discussion. One, focused on medical arguments, either in favor of or in opposition to the ballot measures. Right now, let's say question 2 in Nevada. And thereafter, we'll talk about the economic arguments, either in opposition to or in support of this measure. And number 3, the political effect, if any, that passage might have, or even the fact that it's on the ballot may have this coming November. So, Tick, let me ask you, what are the medical benefits from your standpoint in support of recreational marijuana?
Well, the main thing is that if we do accept the fact that it is medicine, which I do, right now in our current system, if you wanted to go buy OxyContin, for example, you have to go to a doctor, but the doctor can write a prescription, and you go to a pharmacy and you purchase it. If you want to buy marijuana, you go to the doctor fills out a form, it goes to the state, you have to pay $60 or $100. The state issues an ID. That has to be renewed every year. You're treated like a criminal. If you have a concealed weapon permit.
Dick, forgive me, but let me interrupt because we have to take a short break for commercial reasons. We'll be right back. Hold your line.
Okay.
Thank you.
Are you planning to move? Paragon Real Estate Resources can help you sell or buy a home anywhere in the United States. We provide a home resources coordinator to manage all aspects of your move. We recommend qualified real estate agents and other services to prepare your home for sale. Best of all, if you sell or buy a home with our assistance, you could be eligible to receive a tax-free real estate commission cash rebate. We can also help you obtain a mortgage at competitive interest rates. Our lenders offer fixed and adjustable rates, conforming and non-conforming loans, plus FHA and VA financing. We can also assist first-time buyers with as little as 5% down. And when it comes time to move, we can refer you to qualified movers or other companies to assist with self-moves. Paragon Real Estate Resources helps make moving as easy as possible. Call Paragon Real Estate Resources now at 1-800-235-7513 to learn more or visit ParagonRERI.com.
Giuseppe Crystal at glassroses.us would like to welcome you to his extraordinary collection of beautiful handmade glass roses, custom engraved mirrors, engraved tiles, hummingbirds, and glass-blown apple oil candles. Giuseppe manipulates hot glass by hand to form these unique gifts. Each one is in itself a work of art. Many of his items are accentuated in 24-karat gold and come in a variety of colors. Glassroses.us handmade gifts make a personal and dramatic statement for your friend, lover, or family member. He even specializes in custom laser engravings on mirrors, where you can submit a special message or use one of Giuseppe's for that special person in your life. Whether you're looking for a handmade glass hummingbird figurine to complete your collection or exotic glass oil candles for a glamorous accessory in a living, dining, or bedroom, explore his large collection of unexpected delights at glassroses.us.
For sale, like new, 2012 orange and black Can-Am Spyder. This is the RSS SM5 model and has been very well maintained. This Spyder has a dealer installed 2-inch handlebar riser with a heli bar for comfort. With only 4,274 miles on it, this 990cc Spyder is priced at a firm $12,500 and comes with a beautiful leather Corbin heated seat with one backrest for either the passenger or driver that can be locked down for security. This Spyder also has a taller windshield installed that keeps the wind and bugs to a minimum. The seller is not considering any type of trade-in and will only take cash. Please call Linda at 775-813-4730. Again, please call Linda at 775-813-4730 for more information about this 2012 Can-Am Spyder.
All right, welcome back to the Senator Omer Raines Show. Very lively discussion today on medical as well as recreational marijuana, with 3 ways for you to get involved with today's show. You can join us here at the Reno Town Mall, diagonally across the street from the Atlantis Hotel Casino. You can text in a question or a comment at area code 775-384-4444, or if you'd like to call and speak with either of the great guest or Senator Omer Raines, that phone number is 844-790-8255. And now let's get back to Senator Omer Raines.
Dick, I apologize, but it was necessary to interrupt your answer. I want you to continue with the medical arguments in support of recreational marijuana.
Well, as I was saying, under our current medical system, basically medical patients for marijuana are treated much differently than medical patients for any other type of drug, which is, opinion, is very unfortunate. And so when we have recreational marijuana, to the extent that they want to just participate in the recreational side, they're able to buy the marijuana without having to get the card, without having to go through the database, and it won't affect a lot of other things in their life. But the flip side is that the medical system will be taxed substantially less than the recreational. So if you are a medical patient and you already have a card, it may be cheaper to go ahead and stick with the medical side because the cost will be less.
Well, give me an idea of what types of chronic diseases or illnesses or other maladies or problems does recreational as well as medical marijuana address?
Well, it almost covers everything, but the primary ones are PTSD, chronic pain, nausea from people that are taking chemotherapy, loss of appetite, glaucoma. But it's amazing, and there's different strains. When I got into this, I didn't appreciate the fact that there are so many different strains and different levels of THC and CBDs that apply to different people. And of course, you've seen the children with seizures that have been on national TV. So there's lots of different illnesses, the Parkinson's, MS, anything neurologic. So it's a really incredible drug, frankly.
And you know, Senator, one of the things that amazed me, because I actually physically did and read the research, our federal government did a 10-year study with 1,000 patients, and they had a 1.5% ratio of patients who live beyond 5 years. And right here in the great state of Nevada, we have one integrative oncologist that I'm aware of, Dr. James Forsyth, who's now in his 6.5 year with over 1,000 patients, and he's right at 69%. So, you know, that goes to tell you that, you know, cannabis used in the right way can certainly be beneficial to those patients who are in need.
Tick, is there
I
any...
agree, and
Go ahead, please.
I say I agree, and the problem has been, you know, we have not been allowed by the federal government to actually do any research. So all these things are anecdotal, but you know, I've talked to hundreds of people who come up to me and tell me that they were addicted to opioids. They used marijuana to get off of it. That their parent, you know, had all kinds of Alzheimer's problems, or I mean, just the stories are incredible of how it's been used and the personal observations that it works. But until we actually are allowed by the federal government to do studies, which I think is going to start happening, we can't verify like you could with other drugs.
Are there any arguments basically supportive of the possible anti-carcinogenic effects of marijuana?
I'm sure there are, although I'm not personally aware of them. But they have anecdotes about people who have said that they had cancer and the cancer left. There's even things about pets who have had cancers that have gone into remission.
Well, Jim, let's turn to you. What are the adverse medical arguments?
Well, let's talk about what was just determined by the Drug Enforcement Administration. President Obama's head of the DEA has, just this last week, I believe, re-established or confirmed the fact that marijuana would be a Schedule I listed drug. And that was a result of several years of study and a determination made that there is no established medical evidence that it has any medical properties that would indicate that it should be removed from Schedule I. And in addition to that, there was a finding that there's a high likelihood of abuse of the drug, and therefore it was maintained as a Schedule I drug. And if you read the appendix to that DEA report, you see that people looked into this for 2 or 3 years after a petition was initiated by the former governor of Rhode Island and others to examine this, and they went through, you know, glaucoma and all the alleged uses to which marijuana could be put for a medical purpose, and came to a conclusion that there's no established medical evidence at this stage that marijuana is a curative. And so I think that's important to note, because that was a very complete study done, and that's the best evidence we have. Now, the other fact is that there's an indication that the DEA would like to see further testing done, and there should be additional testing done on the medical properties or potential medical properties of marijuana. But at this stage, the evidence is pretty clear that there's nothing positive has been established in the eyes of the DEA and the FDA. And the other side is that there is widespread potential of abuse of the drug, and that's why it continues to be listed under the Obama administration as a Schedule I drug.
Now, when you talk about abuse, are you talking about, well, perhaps that it may impede or impair the ability to properly operate a motor vehicle, that is a DUI,
right,
that type of thing?
A number of issues like that. And I hope at some point in today's discussion we can get around to talking about what are the specifics that are actually in the Nevada initiative, because that's what people are going to be voting on. It's a 13-page initiative that was authored by the marijuana industry, the MPP. And what people are going to be voting on is the sort of a business plan, if you will, of the marijuana industry, how they can profit, how they can benefit from all this. It would be as though if we're voting on something, this question 2, it's as though you would have your tobacco laws in the state of Nevada written by the Marlboro Man, or your liquor laws written by Anheuser-Busch's people. That's what we have. We have an initiative on the ballot that was authored by and written by and benefits a small group of commercial marijuana advocates who will benefit from this. And it's never been vetted. It's gone through the legislative process for amendment and change, where it was actually amended and changed. And that's what people are going to be voting on. It's a wish list, if you will, of the marijuana industry.
Well, Jim, you've facilitated a transition into the economic arguments, and I want to focus on that for a bit as well. Tick, provide the economic arguments either supportive, well, in your case, supportive of the passage of question 2.
All right, it's very simple. The reality is that in downtown Las Vegas, where I am right now, I can go out and buy marijuana, within 5 minutes, walk around the street. If I go on to weedmaps.com, I can actually find somebody who will deliver it to me within 30 minutes. It is currently being used and sold, and money is being made in Nevada, millions and millions of dollars. But that is not being regulated by the state. It's not being taxed by the state. It has created a law enforcement bonanza for law enforcement to arrest people. So you're basically helping cartels in illegal activity, and instead of paying taxes and regulating and testing it to benefit the whole society. This would be a different issue if there wasn't marijuana already out there. But the fact that it is out there means that we ought to go ahead and bring it under the umbrella of government, like alcohol, treat it like alcohol, tax it, test it, make sure it works, but make sure the money goes to us, the taxpayers and the citizens of Nevada, as opposed to the mafia or across the border.
Well, are you basically suggesting that there would be reduced costs of the criminal justice and the law enforcement systems?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's a win-win, because the millions of dollars that are spent by law enforcement right now to prevent it from being out there, even though it already is, and then you justify the cost of the people who are being incarcerated the amount of legal fees they have to pay. Even if they aren't put in jail or in prison, they're arrested. It's on their record. They can't get a student loan. They can't get a mortgage. The millions and billions of dollars that have been wasted trying to put this thing to keep it illegal.
Okay, Tick, I'm going to, forgive me, interrupt you once again because we must take one more commercial break.
Hi there, I'm Hugh Roy Marshall of the Marshall Mint in Virginia City, Nevada. I'm proud to announce that our 7-ingot set honoring the V&T Railroad is now finished.
That's right, Roy. These beautiful 999 silver ingots celebrate the engines from the world-famous V&T Railroad and honor Nevada's sesquicentennial. These limited edition treasures can be purchased only at the Marshall Mint in Virginia City, Nevada.
Or visit us at marshallmint.com to get yours today.
Hi, this is Shannon with Lancaster Auto Care. At Lancaster Auto Care, we care about cars. Whether it's your classic 69 Mustang that you call your baby, your toy hauling mudslinging 4-wheel drive, or your daughter's first car, you can be sure that your vehicle will be cared for the right way. We are locally owned and family operated with over 20 years of experience caring for customers' vehicles just like yours. We pride ourselves on providing the best quality service for your vehicle, so when you're on or off the road, you can be confident in knowing your car is running at peak performance and reliability. If you are looking for a friendly, honest shop that provides excellent service, stop by and see us. We are conveniently located at 2255 Glendale Avenue, Suite 14, just behind the Grand Sierra. Visit us at Lancaster Auto Care or call us at 775-813-2276. And remember, we give discounts to our active military and veterans.
Talking to Victor from Precision Diamonds. Victor, I remember you in the old days, Park Lane Mall, a kiosk. It's a lot different now, isn't it?
Man, that was a long time ago. In 1988, we've been blessed that we've been guided, and finally we have bought an amazing building across the street from the convention center. We found a better way to serve you. You know, we call it home. We managed to create amazing energy. And when we say welcome to the family, boy, we really mean it.
It is a family affair.
Absolutely. And we couldn't have done it without our wonderful customers who believed in us for all of 27 years. So I'm here to really say thanks to all of our wonderful family members who we started as customers, who now we know each other's children's and grandchildren.
All those years ago, a little kiosk in Park Lane Mall. Park Lane Mall's not there anymore, but you are still here.
Yeah, we have solidified our future by buying this beautiful building on Virginia Street. So we're there to serve you.
Thank you, Victor. Precision Diamonds, your local jeweler across from the convention center.
We are back now with another segment of the Senator Omer Raines Show. We've been talking about medical marijuana. We've been talking about recreational marijuana. We're very fortunate because we have a guest from California, as well as a guest from the great state of Nevada. Both of them are senators, and this show is the Senator Omer Raines Show. So without wasting another moment, let's go to Senator Omer Raines.
Thank you again, Eddie. Going back to you, Tick, if you know, what is the percentage of those incarcerated in prison for drug-related offenses?
I honestly don't know that, and it always comes up, so I'll concede that there are very few incarcerated for marijuana possession alone. It's mainly
I can help. It's
marijuana.
0.7% of all state inmates are behind bars for simple marijuana possession. That's 0.7% of all state inmates are behind bars, simple marijuana possession. And, in fact, on a first offense in Nevada, there is no incarceration. You are given a fine. So those are the facts. We've got a lot of straw men that are set up about people going to jail for simple possession of an ounce or less of marijuana, and it doesn't happen. George Skelton, great political writer for the LA Times, calls this one of the huge myths that is popular to propagandize with, but it hasn't got any substance to it.
Well, let me ask this, Jim, based on what you just said. I understand that for direct possession, you cited a statistic, which is I don't know one way or the other, probably accurate. But what about those who are incarcerated for drug-related offenses to the use of marijuana?
Well, I don't know what those numbers are, but I also don't know, if somebody is charged with a rape and something else, and included in that is a drug issue. I'm talking about, how many people are going to jail today or have been jailed for a simple possession of an ounce, which, by the way, is, I believe, something like 60 joints worth of marijuana. I mean, it's not a tiny quantity. Those are the realities. This is a straw man that's been set up by the industry, if you will, people that are going to enrich themselves to try to gain popular appeal out there. And it has no substance to it.
Well, based on what Jim just said, substantial income, obviously, to many parties, but what about to the state itself? Would there be income? And if so, how much?
Absolutely. Well, Colorado, for example, is going to make about $100 million this year in tax revenue from sale of marijuana. And it may take a couple of years, but the reality is for Nevada, I think we'll exceed that. I mean, our tourism-based economy is so perfect for recreational marijuana. When you come to Nevada, our slogan is, what happens here stays here. And people will come from all around the country, all around the world. They'll go to a marijuana shop, they'll buy a joint, they'll buy a T-shirt, they'll take a picture of themselves, take a selfie, and they'll go home. They'll come here, they'll go to a restaurant, the best restaurants in the world, they'll go to the best shows in the world, they'll go to a concert, they'll go to a nightclub. It is so perfect for our economy. Remember, Nevada is not a normal state. When our kids go to grocery stores, what do they see? They see people gambling on slot machines. I mean, we are built on an addictive society here in Nevada. That's how we make our money. So to say that somehow or other marijuana is going to change the dynamic, the only thing that's going to change is we're going to get tax revenue because it's already out there. But kids that grow up in Nevada realize that there are addictive things that happen, and they have to learn how to deal with them. But it's such a red herring to think that somehow or other recreational marijuana is going to destroy Nevada. It's already in Nevada. I've been to concerts here on the Strip. 15,000 people in a concert hall. They're passing marijuana around.
Well, not to make
everybody realizes it's out there.
Not to make light at all of a serious question. I've heard the people joke that Nevada's going to be the one-stop shopping center. Fly into Nevada, sex, gaming, and pot in one place.
Well, but why not? I mean, that's the whole point. I mean, of all the vices in the world, marijuana is probably the least amount. One of the ironies is that some of our counties, like Lyon County, they have prostitution, but the county commissioner said, "Oh, we don't want marijuana. We're going to bring an unsavory element into our county." I mean, give me a break.
We wandering
we are such hypocrites.
Point here wasn't the question, frankly, a question about tax revenue that are going to be raised here. And the reality is, if you look at Colorado, and the so-called pot czar of Colorado, a guy named Andrew Friedman, has said that the tax dollars brought in from the marijuana taxes barely covered the cost of regulation and administration, and he called it a big red herring, that a lot of people out there think you're going to pave roads or pay teachers from marijuana sales. It isn't going to happen. And beyond that is, again, I come back, I encourage people and to look at the initiative, read the 13 pages. Section 16 of the initiative provides, there's all this discussion that, money's going to go for education. Well, how does the actual initiative read? It says that the first claim on any of the marijuana revenues will go to the Department of Taxation for their cost of an administration and enforcement, and then secondarily to localities for any cost in administration and enforcement. And only after that does education get any money. And I will also make the point, in Colorado, in the first 18 months of their program, 2015, it raised something like $30 million in a for education in a general fund budget of $6.7 billion. I mean, when we talk about de minimis amounts of money being raised from them, that's exactly what it is. De minimis amounts of money. It sells to voters out there, and that's what TIC is hoping for, that voters out there are going to get confused, that this money is going to go to education, solve all kinds of problems. And it isn't. It's a fallacy.
You know, gentlemen, I'm going to break in right now because one of our listeners, a very, very special guest, world-renowned oncologist of the year only a couple of years ago, Dr. James Forsyth of Forsyth Cancer Care Center, has actually called into the show to weigh into the conversation. Dr. Forsyth, welcome to Senator Omar Raines' show, sir.
Thank you, Eddie, and thank you, Omar, for your lively discussion today. I wanted to say a few words as someone who is knowledgeable in medical marijuana, having written the book Stoned, The Truth About Medical Marijuana and Hemp Oil, and with my personal experience with the Constance Finley oil out of Richmond, California, in which, and this has been published in the San Francisco and Oregon papers, a prolongation of survival of up to 90% in a small number, less than 50 patients, whom I have sent her personally for the oil, the Constance Finley oil, which is a 4-to-1 preparation, THC to CBD. And also, Stanford has looked at her figures, Stanford University Medical Center, and they feel they are legitimate figures, and that it especially is helpful in brain tumors and triple-negative breast cancer. So the idea that it has no medical value is totally false, in my opinion.
Well, thank you. And if you can, remain on the line, Dr. Forsyth, because you can contribute to this conversation. It's a very important conversation.
I'd be happy to. Thank you.
Thank you. So, gentlemen, talk about, again, from the state standpoint, are we going to have a new bureaucracy developed, or TIC or Jim, either one of you? How is that going to work? How will the regulatory authorities come into play?
Well, Jim mentioned that under the initiative, the Department of Taxation is in charge of recreational, whereas medical is under the Department of Health. But the reality is all we have to do is take the Department of Health folks and bring them over to taxation, which is what we're going to do. So we're not going to create a new bureaucracy. They said we already have the framework. We have the mechanics. Everything that is grown, transported, and sold is already barcoded in Nevada. We have a complete tracking system. We're able to take that exact same system where it's all computerized and tied to the state central system. That will just be duplicated for recreational. So it takes about 2 seconds to flip the switch, and the recreational will already be there. Everything will be the same. The only thing that would change will be the tax rate. So it's going to be very simple to do it, and all that money he's talking about going to administration, it's already been spent. So now the key is the volume, and this is going to increase our volume, in my opinion, tenfold or more, which again is going to increase our tax revenue. And if it's only $17 million, $17 million is nothing to sneeze at in a small state like Nevada. And frankly, it's going to be much more than that. It is so perfect for our state that because it's already here, it's already being used, the primary users will be tourists. They won't be Nevadans, and we'll be able to benefit from it. And the other thing is, if it passes in California, it doesn't pass in Nevada, who's going to come to Nevada? We're going to be a desert again.
Referring to...
Well, let me take on the question of bureaucracy and administration. If this were so simple to just graft on to the Department of Taxation the existing Health and Human Services, why didn't they write an initiative that left all this responsibility with the Health and Human Service? And the reality is the people that drafted this drafted other initiatives that are around the country right now, and they modeled the Department of Taxation administration of this on Colorado, which has a Department of Revenue that runs their marijuana program. And the size of the Department of Revenue in the state of Colorado tripled after legalizing and voting to legalize marijuana. I mean, they're given, under the initiative, they are given a year to staff up in the Department of Taxation to find experts, the people that know about potency, that know about how to retail and advertise, that know about different licenses. There are going to be 5 separate licenses that are going to issue. They're going to have to set the wholesale price of marijuana. And in Colorado, they went out and hired, as I described it, their pot czar. They needed to find somebody that knew enough about marijuana to be able to run an expensive state program.
Okay, excuse me, gentlemen. We are going to take our very last commercial break. Stand by, please.
Nashville's coming to Minden this Saturday at the 5 Clover Ranch. Hi, this is Dee Gregory. Join Latigo Travis and I on stage for the concert that many said could never happen. Jimmy Fortune, Marty Haggard, Lacey J. Dalton, Rex Allen Jr., and David Frizzell are all coming to the 5 Clover Ranch this Saturday. If the music's not a good enough reason to come out, there's a restored horse-drawn carriage from the 1800s that will be raffled off. Also at the end of each show, an autographed guitar from each artist and 1 grand prize will go out to an audience member. It's all happening this Saturday at the 5 Clover Ranch in Minden. There's also 12 orphaned baby horses that will be up for adoption. We hope to see you there. For tickets, go to eventbrite.com. For senior and military discounts, call 775-771-0428. We'll see you there.
Have you been dreaming of owning your own home? For many renters, the inability to save for a down payment keeps them from realizing their dream. I'm Doug Caller of Academy Mortgage and co-host of the All Things Home radio show. As a Nevada Housing Division and Nevada Rural Housing Authority participating lender, Academy has your solution. We offer programs featuring 2 to 5% non-repayable grants to assist with your down payment and closing costs. Our next down payment assistance workshop is Saturday, August 20th at 9 a.m. at the American Matters Studio in the Reno Town Mall. Our special guest is Home at Last Director of Homebuyer Services, Diane Arvizo. For more information, call Doug Caller at 775-828-7006. Don't let the lack of a down payment keep you from owning your own home. Academy Mortgage is an equal housing lender, NMLS number 312085, corporate NMLS 3113.
Hi, let me tell you about a very important name change that took place right here in northern Nevada. Century Wellness Clinic is now known as Forsyth Cancer Care Center. That's right. If you have a family member, friend, or associate that you know has been diagnosed with any form of cancer, you're going to want to get a hold of Forsyth Cancer Care Center. Used to be Century Wellness Clinic, but now Forsyth Cancer Care Center, they're still located at 521 Hamel Lane, right here in Reno, Nevada. Their phone number is area code 775-827-0707. Get that pencil and write it down right now. It's 775-827-0707, located at 521 Hamel Lane, Forsyth Cancer Care Center, serving your family and friends. We are back now with the Senator Omer Raines Show. We want you to join us, we want you to text us, or we want you to call us. Really lively conversation going on right now. Even Dr. James Forsyth called in and spoke to James and Tick, and so we'll continue on with Senator Omer Raines.
I want to go back to one point Tick was raising about the funds going to education. Would you repeat what you said? How much of the funds raised by the state would go into education? Hello? Hello, Tick, are you there? Hello? Tick, are you there?
I am. I hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. You were silent. What about education revenue raised by the state taxation program?
Well, the first dollars do go to the administration of the program, but it's going to be far less than what the other side is saying. And at the end of the day, we're going to see over $100 million or more in tax revenue, and that's going to go to education, which again, in the state of Nevada, is nothing to sneeze at. That's a huge amount of money. And the main thing is it's already out there. It's not like it's money that isn't being spent. It's already being spent. Now it's going to go to our pockets as opposed to organized crime pockets.
Well, reality is we've confirmed, I think, that the first claim on any of the marijuana revenue goes to the Department of Taxation for enforcement and administration. And the second claim goes to locality for their cost of administration and enforcement. And anything left over goes into the general fund, the distributive account for schools in the general fund, which could be reduced by the legislature to reflect some additional money coming in from marijuana. So there's no guarantee at a local level anybody's going to get any additional educational revenue from any of this. And I would continue to go back and say the reality in the experience in the state of Colorado from their pot czar is to say, don't expect to be able to pave roads or pay teachers from the money that's raised from this. And the other point I would make is there are incredible social costs in all of this. Emergency room expenses are going up in Colorado because of legalized recreational marijuana. You've got a homelessness problem that didn't exist prior to the legalizing of marijuana. So you've got drug treatment because of increased use of marijuana in the state. So the social costs on top of the real administrative and enforcement costs far outstrip any money that is going to be raised from this 15% tax at the wholesale level.
Well, excuse me, you want to say something here, Tick?
I just wanted to say I couldn't disagree more. At the end of the day, there's not going to be any more use by local people than there is currently. So all those problems are already being experienced. The money is going to come from the revenue from people visiting Las Vegas. And those people are not going to be homeless people. They're not going to be using the emergency room. They're going to be going to our concerts. They're going to be spending money at restaurants. It's going to be a real attraction for our tourism economy. If we don't do it, we're going to be leaving that money on the table, and they're going to go to other states, these tourists from around the world. So I mean, it's not only a double whammy, but if we don't do it, it's going to hurt our economy. If we do it, it's going to really be a boost to our economy.
Well, let's look at what's happened in Colorado. Colorado's legalized it in 2012, and currently, under a report from January 2016 of the high-intensity drug trafficking area group in Colorado, the group of 12 to 17-year-old Colorado youth are now the number one users of marijuana in the United States. That's also true. Number one is in the 18 to 26-year-old group, and also number one in the over 26-year-old group. So there's been an increase in the use of marijuana. Not surprisingly, if it's legalized and advertised and close at hand for people, you're going to have more use. And it's being used by young people. One of the things we haven't even talked about today is the insidious edible whole epidemic that's going on. 45% of the marijuana sold in Colorado are edible. These are gummy bears and space cookies and sodas that are infused with marijuana, high-potency marijuana that is going to be used by young people. So for Tick to say, oh, gee, it isn't going to impact the youth of Nevada, of course it is. And the people that are paying into this campaign to legalize it are the makers of those products, the edibles in Colorado. Dixie Industries, for example, is a contributor to the campaign in Nevada. They want to be able to sell these products that are very, appealing to little kids and young people. And that's part of the insidiousness of this whole initiative here.
Well, you brought up an interesting question that comes to my mind. Is Nevada residency required for a dispensary owner or for an investor?
No, absolutely not. In fact, we have the most business-friendly marijuana laws already. So we have businesses from all around the country, all around the world, who've come in and invested tremendous money, including Dixie, because this is a great state.
60% of the contributors to this initiative, 60% of the money that has been donated has come from out-of-state interests. 9 states, and most importantly, the Marijuana Policy Project has thrown in $250,000. You will see them putting in probably $1 million or $2 million by the time this thing is all over. This is not homegrown, pardon the pun here, homegrown initiative. This is a group of people that think they can get very wealthy, and probably can, if they can con enough people into voting in favor of question 2 on the ballot.
Well, is that
what's wrong with that? I mean, our liquor distributors
are bad.
Exactly.
I'm sorry?
Our liquor distributors are out-of-state companies. Our cigarette distributors are out-of-state companies. We have 2 main casino companies. They're out-of-state companies. So, I mean, the thought that somebody out-of-state would come in and help Nevada.
The question that I was addressing, I think Senator Raines asked, was, can out-of-state companies participate in the Nevada recreational marijuana program? And my answer is not only can they, they're very actively involved and really sort of carrying the load in terms of the money that's been contributed to all of this.
But I think the question that arises is that necessarily bad? I don't know.
And that's my point.
Well,
it's great.
Do the profits go to Nevadans, or are they going to be returned to Illinois and Massachusetts and New Jersey and Texas and California? The medical marijuana people in Berkeley, in San Francisco, and in Oakland are heavy contributors to this Yes campaign. So I would expect that money will go back to California and to Texas.
But that's Nevada's history. That's what Nevada does. Everybody in Nevada takes their money back home. We don't have local companies. Our liquor companies, our gaming companies, they're all out-of-state companies. But the key is we tax them, and the tax revenue stays here. We bring people from all those states for tourism. They spend money like water. We tax them. We keep the taxes, and they take the profits, and they go back to where they came from.
Well, let me ask this. Under the specific initiative here that we're talking about in Nevada, let's assume that I'm 21 years of age or older. Unfortunately, I am much older. Would I be able to grow marijuana for personal use?
Let me tell you the answer to that question, because there's a perfect Section 5 of the initiative. Section 6, I guess it is, actually, of the initiative, says you can possess up to, if you're over 21, you can possess up to an ounce of marijuana, and you can grow up to 6 plants as long as they're hidden from view and all the rest of it. Back in Section 14, however, and this is why I say this is a special interest pleading of a special group, that right's taken away for anybody who would try to grow marijuana, the 6 plants, if they are within 25 miles of a marijuana retail establishment. And it also provides that there will be 80 marijuana retail establishments in Clark County, 20 in Washoe, 4 in Carson, 2 in the rural counties. So the reality is, to some people, they think, oh, gee, I'm going to be able to grow 6 plants of marijuana. But the reality is, if you're within 25 miles of a retail establishment, you can't, and start drawing the 25 miles radius around these stores. The reality is 95 or 98% of Nevadans will not be able to grow marijuana themselves. And that, I think, gives you a real perspective on who this was written for and by. It was written by the marijuana industry for their own benefit, and they actually don't even help people that would want to cultivate marijuana themselves.
Before we run out of time, well, go ahead, Dick. Very quickly, though, please.
Just to clarify a point, that deals with recreational marijuana. The medical marijuana laws still exist, and under those laws, you can grow 12 plants, and we're going to extend that for in the future. So the reality is, if you need marijuana for medicinal, you will be able to still grow it.
Very quickly, because we only have 40 seconds left, I'd like each of you to tell people, listeners, how, if they wish, they might become involved either in support of or in opposition to the initiative. We're running out of time, so it's got to be very short.
My point is just very simple. Just follow the ballot, vote yes on question 2. We know it's already out there, so let's go ahead and recognize reality. Let's regulate it, let's tax it, let's test it, and let's make money on it.
Okay, Jim, we have 15 seconds.
Yeah, and I would only say for people that are interested in this issue, that I hope the general public in Nevada gets aroused, they can reach our organization.
Got to interrupt you. Great program.